Okay, everybody, welcome. We are talking to Howard Glasser, the creator of the Nurtured Heart Approach. And I was just about to say, and then I decided to hit record, how grateful I am that I got on your radar, Howard. I'm so lucky that I got to have this like close up learning and mentorship with you through the peer leader program and inner wealth mentoring and just conversations and I was just reflecting on this yesterday because there's an organization that is doing these campaigns. They're doing a campaign right now to raise money. They asked me would I consider posting, and I absolutely did and would, even though I don't normally I try to keep my brand to just what I'm bringing, because they were that very first organization to give me a platform. They hired me during COVID to do that Zoom that you heard about, Howard. And you reached out and were like something like, "Oh, I saw this article. Way to go." Anyway, I'm so grateful because I've been gifted with this close up, hardcore heart work that has transformed my life, has transformed all my opportunities, has transformed my family, has given me like a life that is a dream. And I'm so grateful. So thank you for being my teacher and for seeing me. And actually you saw me at that very first CTI, whether you remember that you did or didn't, but um thank you for seeing me and for giving me this close up opportunity of gleaning from your greatness and your wisdom that is just mind-bogglingly out of this world and out of the box, and fun and beautiful at the same time. And so, yay, we get to have a conversation now and share that with people who are listening. And the thing that popped in my head that I was holding back from saying because I wanted to be on the recording is that in your book, Igniting Greatness, which I actually see on the back wall behind you, there it is, the Igniting Greatness book, you wrote this thing about potato chips, how the addiction how the greatness of addiction, how your brain is scanning every potato chip and saying, I need to give primal nutrition. We need the good stuff. So is there any good stuff in this chip? Nope. Let's try again. Let's try again. And that's what's driving you to keep eating the chip because your brain is so kind and so loving and wants to give you nutrition. So you're going to keep at it, anything empty that gives the kind of
Mm.
blinking lights of like, I will give you everything you need. And then it doesn't. We're like, wait, so where is it? And we keep trying and we keep trying. And that's the insanity of addiction, but also the greatness of it. And that shift in that potato chip bag, that has like rippled into so many applications for me and in the way I see myself and the way I see
Is
everything.
that how they invented rippled potato chips?
Oh, there you go. See? Definitely had ripples on it.
Did I say that if I remember correctly, the offshoot of that, the epiphany I had out of my potato chip era, not that I don't eat a potato chip now and then, but I find them even more empty. That doesn't mean I can't have joy in a potato chip, but the moments when ate something, when I was able to reset that unconscious, just like search for nutrition, and then I ate something with real nutrition, in a time related way. And it was all of a sudden that quest for nourishment, that endless desire to chip, 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 that was gaining nothing. I came out of my trance because it's like a trance when we get,
Yeah,
if you've ever done that.
yeah.
And I think the point was what we really want is deep, profound, abiding nutrition.
Yeah, and I think the when we can look past the behavior, the potato chip eating,
Oh,
and
like the kid nagging?
yeah, or whatever, and see the drive in that, right? The powerful persistence, the how deep the yearning is that I'll go through that whole bag of potato chips and maybe a second bag of potato chips just to get that nourishment. I have such a advocacy for my needs and such a beautiful commitment to myself to get that nourishment that I will hurt my stomach, I will gain weight, right? I will do just to get that nutrition. If I can go past the behavior of the potato chips and connect with that greatness, that intensity of yearning and commitment.
Yeah.
Oh, I will go to what length to find real nourishment, and what a powerhouse I become. What a
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know anything but the potato chip, so to speak.
Yeah,
You know,
that's all they have
card,
access to.
if we stay with the food analogy, cardboard foods, you're going to blow up because those foods are inherently, bloating and damaging, and they're inherently lacking in nutrition, or it's so little, so few, far between. It's hard to get for the kid who's, devoted, profoundly, uh, a profound drive to get that nourishment. If in a family all they know is non-nourishment, things to say that are inherently um, lacking, like, for a high need intensity kid, thank you and good job just won't cut it,
Yeah.
you know? And and it's kind of fun to find your way to nourishment. I mean, however we as human beings start eating uh, a real tomato or a real, like a real avocado, and um, and have our epiphany of, oh my goodness, like an awakening, like, oh, my
It's
body is
good.
body doesn't know what to do with this, but okay, bring it on. And then we kind of tiptoe into the world. I mean, I've been around a couple of people who were introduced to real nutrition and they just jumped in with 2 feet. And I had a wild respect for them. And I've seen some in the equation of health, I've seen them have incredible transformative healing in their lives. Um, but I was never that person. I have to acclimate. Even though I've known for 50 years what real nutrition is, it's still a dance. Ever,
Always
you're,
that question of maybe there's more in negativity. I don't know. Like, I'm just not gonna stop trying, like maybe there's more. I have to press that red
well,
button on the toy just one more time. I just have to make sure that it's,
oh
you
my God, it's going to be hard for me not to be political here, because because I'm just utterly. Okay. I'm going to share something wild. Follow the energy in terms of what I watch or what I wind up watching on streaming. Not that I don't have the internal endless streaming. Thank you. But it's entertaining, plenty entertaining. But I watched. Have you ever heard of the Jerry Springer Show? It's a wild and woolly daytime interview show that's not really that. It might as well be wrestling. I watched I began watching a documentary that talked to producers of that show, and they quickly realized their winning formula was to be crazy. The more crazy, the bigger the audience.
Mhm.
And they just let that unfold to full tilt crazy. And I had this is just last week, and I had a few days ago, and I just had this flash. Oh, that explains America right now. It explains, because they actually came out and said we go for people's basest, their most base um, nature. And it could be true that our base nature is negative. Well, it's part of the energies of the world. It makes sense in a way that we've had to survive negativity to get where we are today. It's alive in us, but I think some people have, to some whatever extent, done the work to um, to form a internal relationship and an external relationship with negativity where it doesn't run the show. where they can, as negativity doesn't win, as you're saying, I'm pointing at the computer. It's so funny. I'm talking to you in the room. As this kid becomes less convinced that they get more in a life through negativity, as they become more convinced that they can get even greater nutrition from positivity, as they get introduced to greatness, their proclivity to go towards that base nature, it it it's like, yeah, I have a craving for potato chips 20% of the time. I go to this one bodega, this one little store where the potato chips is by the counter. And I love that store. And I see the potato chips, but it doesn't win. The majority of times, once in a blue moon, I know what I'm getting into. I know I'm going to get nothing out of it, but it's going to be delicious, or hopefully, or
Yeah.
or it's not satisfying, or it's disappointing. Even though I wanted to give into the craving, but we become more conscious of what we give into. We're living in a world which, at this point in time, is kind of in this precarious balance of what we give into, who we vote for. Like, at some point you see through to truth of what real nutrition is, and you go, and you could go, no, I don't want that. I want this. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I just, it's a fascinating example, or what's the word for comparison. It's like making the bells all, ring and the lights go on, because it's always easier to eat empty food. It's always easier. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's more available. Very often it's yummier to the tongue, like yummier to the. It takes a sensitivity. Like, when I was thinking, when you were talking about the TV show, I was thinking about, like, listening to an incredible orchestra, or even one musician playing an instrument very, very well. The sensitivity to really appreciate the sound, the depth of the sound, the depth of the notes, the flow of the notes. It takes a consciousness and a present, ness, and a groundedness to attune to the nuances of the beauty of the music. You don't need that kind of presence to appreciate silly, crass, baseline human, comedy. It doesn't. It's easy to laugh at stupid things. It's easy. It's fast. It's cheap. It's let's go, right? And it's the same with that fast food.
Yeah.
And it's the harder way. It is. It's the harder way to. I don't know if you were saying about how maybe we have this negative baseline or whatever it is, and maybe, but like a different twist on that, or a different comparison of, like, who we are is, like, we're human. We're animals too, and there's a crassness to us that's easy and easily available. It's more comfortable. It's like we the external materialistic plane. It's like we can anytime we can access that, and it's fast and it's easy. That's more spiritual, just higher plane of the sensitivity to music, the sensitivity to relationship, the hues of colors, the hues of smells. I mean, I'm not a smell person. I'm not really a perfume person. I smell the perfumes, they all smell the same. I'm not sensitive. Someone who's sensitive, they know, oh, this is a rich smell, this is a cheap smell. They know, but it takes a sensitivity. Anything that we want to really connect with takes that intentional going out of our crassness, going out of our base, and it's harder. And I think that's the gift of the intense child, and the gift of the intense child within us, if we relate to that, and if we have that, is that there's something pushing us. It's like, how many bags of potato chips can we go through? Eventually we're going to hit rock bottom. There's gonna be an end, I hope. But with the intense child, there is. And I think that's the gift. I always say, with parents and people that come to me, it's like, a lot of people fall off the nurtured heart wagon Why? Because it's so much harder. It's not easy. It's not fast. It's not cheap. It's not empty. It's not crass. It's finding that heart, that nutrition, that like making the words, that the answer is to get deeper always. The harder it is, the answer is always to get deeper, to get more sensitive. And that takes such a like a maturity almost, like a spiritual maturity.
My curiosity in this lifetime seems to be, and it's a wavy path. I'm not in any way making it sound easy, but my quest is to see if it could become easy and become so second nature that I don't want to ever be the person who pretends that crassness isn't in my awareness. I'm not I I I'm not I'm a little allergic to that. That uh I've had chapters in my life that are pretentious. Hopefully, it's much less so now. But the pretension of I don't know if you know a lot of people know the Monty Python reference. There's a movie where a soldier has his arm cut off and he looks at the blood spurting and he said, "Oh, it's only a flesh wound." I don't want to pretend the agony isn't there or the ecstasy isn't there. I don't want to pretend there's not suffering. I don't want to pretend I don't have cravings. I don't want to pretend anything. I don't want to pretend that these energies of the world exist. I want, though, to be fluid and fluent in taking all the energies and having them be at work for on behalf of nutrition. But what's nutrition? I'm gonna say what really satisfies my soul is when, like, I'm stirred and I have a million things going on, but then, like everybody, I have the presence of mind either automatically, I think we do this automatically, we don't know it, but then the delicious, the feast moments, to stay with the food thing, are when I ever more consciously can just take that pause, that reset to go, oh, yay, energy, even though it may be energies of all flavors and, like not stuff I'm thrilled about, can I just be that conscious? I'll invoke the word woke. I want to be that woke. Thank you, woke. I want to be that person who is awake enough to go, yay, energy. Who cares about the wrapping? I want the present inside. Energy is the present, the presence. And I want to my best nutrition that I found so far is when I go, oh, I am the greatness of presence, or I am the greatness of whatever I want to grow. And lately I've been saying to myself, I am the ever greater greatness of, because I don't want it to end. I want that nutrition to be like vast and not tethered to any particular reality. I want to see where the reality of how great can be can go.
It is so delicious, and I think it's if for nothing if nothing else, and I know there's so much else, but if nothing else, the experience of the CTI is that pause. That's what it is for me, and that's what it is I see for other people. The gift of experiencing what real nutrition looks like. So even if you walk out of that CTI without knowing nurtured heart and without knowing how to apply it and without knowing the details, and that's what I hear people saying, but like, what about nurtured heart? We didn't really learn that. It's like we spent a day on the stands, but you've tasted something. You've tasted something, a reality that
Mm.
of what is possible in the world, what is possible for relationship, what is possible for nutrition, and you can never forget that. And you can never forget. And with all the potato chip bags in the world, it's like there's another option. There's something there, and that taste. And I think that's the gift. And to all you sensitive people out there who have been told your whole life, you're way too sensitive, you're way too sensitive, get over it, and all those intense people out there who have always been driven to find a higher truth and a higher something, like that's the gift of you that you brought to the world, that you, like, you sensitive people and you intense people bring to the world, where it's like, I just see through this. They can't pretend. They can't. They are not physically possible.
Mm.
They're not able. I have a sister like this. A few sisters like this, actually. They're not able to put on a mask. I was able to put on a mask. I was able to be whatever you want me to be. I'll be whatever you want me to be. Sure, I'll be a people pleaser. I'll be all the things. They couldn't. They tried. They couldn't. It was the truth just like flies out of them, and they feel it in everything. They feel the energies everywhere, and they feel the truth everywhere. And these are the people who are leading us all to like a river or a lake of like real crystal clear, beautiful
Mm.
water of nutrition that that is, once we taste it, it's yeah, it's so hard, but it's like, for me, walking out of that first CTI, it was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know when I'm going to get there, but I'm not stopping till I do, because I want that for myself. I want that for
Yeah.
my family. That is
It-
real. That is real. Okay? Yeah.
be as sensitive as you want. Sensitivity is a phenomenal asset to
Yes.
existence.
Yeah.
If you could not have the pain of life, the pangs of life, the pings of life take us down rabbit holes, if we have the perspective for a second or two now and then to go, oh, yay, energy. Yes, this hurts. And, you know, oh, wow, it's underneath the hurt, underneath the joy, underneath everything is energy, and energy is nourishment. But it's not just it's nourishment for what we want to grow. It's the compost that enriches the soil of our being, the ground of our being, which then, okay, well, yay, I feel enriched, but now what do I want to do with it? Do I want to go for a walk and smell the flowers? Do I want to grow some qualities in me or the people in my midst that would be enhancing? Okay, do you remember? Okay,
And
here's
it's
the
so,
question.
no, I do want to say one more
Remember where
thing.
you
So
were?
I want to say one more thing. Yes. Well, but to what you're saying, it's just such a meaningful, purposeful version of life that I could look back at my life, at my days, at my choices, and be so proud and full of, like, I was intentional with my energies. This leads right into the, and closes actually where we started from with the potato chips. Is this is the rippled potato chips, is that the it's such a good example, because it's that is that is what it is. That idea of like, what's behind this, like, stuffing myself with potato chip, like, what is this? And if I can get to the energy of it, I've opened up the door to this like massive, like a battery pack, fuel of some sort. And now I can ask myself, because I'm intentional and aware and present with this energy, now I can ask myself, so what is it that I want? Oh, I'm looking for nutrition. Let me go make myself the most nutritious salad or whatever it is, with such intentionality.
The way you do that, you are. I need to come up with a a phrase that represents CTI. Certainly, truly, the
In
isness of you,
in
and
yeah.
our friend Duran would say, the isness of you. You want what you seem to be craving is the real nutrition. Well, look in a mirror and say, oh, I have a lot of this energy of I want a connection. Oh, I am great connection. I am the ever greater greatness of connection.
Yes.
I know that sounds delusional, but
No, it's
I
not.
I I live in the world of delusion and I love it. It's my favorite place.
Yes, when I can pause and reset that potato chip, like you said, and I can say I can see that desire for connection and I can give that to myself and I can be there with it and the power of it and connect with myself or maybe with a loved one, but whatever it is, like real connection, there is no comparison to that to like a good night of going to bed.
It's really about like, okay, I have this enormous groundswell of energy before I go to sleep. I want to feel full. I
Yes.
want to feel, I want
Yes.
to feel not that empty potato chip thing, but
Yes.
fullness, oh, I'm grateful. I am grateful. You can go through your day and what you're grateful for, or you can be designer greatness. You can just take that same energy that's like like
And it's such a gift
and
because
what
what I walk away with is so much richer than if I never had had that in the first place.
even if you just say to yourself, I'm the greatness of this entertaining chapter of my life that shows up every day. I am the greatness of being entertained. That's going to be nourishing. That statement alone is a transfer, a transposition, an alchemy of the energies that are, you
Yeah.
know, the emptiness is a huge common humanity. I don't want to pretend I'm not empty. There are so many times where I feel that gnawing uh, desire and don't know what to do with it or where to go with that. But I'm say it one more time. If I'm woke enough, if I'm awake enough to, oh, that's energy too.
Yes.
Emptiness is energy. Can I transpose that into something useful and purposeful? And that would be that those two words are for me the key, useful and purposeful. That's who I want to be in this lifetime.
Yeah. Not a wannabe. I want to be purposeful and useful. I,
I am the ever greater greatness of being
and
purposeful and
I
useful.
am. We are. Okay, so people who are listening, if I just want to say, like, if this sounds so like far off or like just out there, I just want to invite you to just try it on. Like, what would it look like to what could it look like to see yourself in any moment and like feel how it feels in that moment and to like own the greatness, to own a greatness on that level of energy of the of something. It's just it's powerful and you have to just you can't swim out of water. You have to try it, you know? And it's
Mm.
something that you know when you've done it, when you felt it, when you've experienced it, it's like, okay, I get it now, you know?
What's alive in you? What's wanting to be alive in you? What spirit is rising in you? So we could nourish our bellies, but can we nourish our true being? Can we nourish our spirit? Can we find wobble our way to a word or two here and there, now and then, that really hits home, and then pause long enough to go, oh yes, I am that great quality. You are, Mussi, you are the great quality of inquisitiveness and aliveness. We couldn't have this kind of conversation unless you were extremely present, and you didn't come at me with 14 preordained questions, that you honed till 3 in the morning, and and so you didn't pull me into an experience of living in the past or the future. You were just like right here in a conversation, which is absolutely beautiful. You are connected. You
I
are
am.
the greatness of connection.
Um, and I love that about myself. And I'm so grateful for you, Howard, for guiding the way to nourishment, to that crystal clear water, to those beautiful, nourishing version of life and relationship with myself and with others. And you are the greatness, Howard, of being such a rebel in the best of ways. Just you just follow that voice of truth, and you don't care, or you do care, but you don't let the care of what others think, say, do, act, push, want. It's just you're just here to stand for something so nourishing, and you're the greatness of standing for nourishing, standing for us all, giving us permission, giving us a new a way, a possibility of
Mm,
opening possibility.
mm. Thank you for seeing my stance.
Yes.
It's like a dance and stance at the same time.
It's
Stance.
so it's so thrilling to me, and it's definitely like my intensity that I love about myself, and that I found so many ways to place, but it's so fun for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Mm.
So we'll
Best
continue, I guess.
podcast, best podcast ever.
Howie, where should people go to find more of you? If they want to hear more from you, they want to, I don't know if you're open for, one-on-one connection at this point or not, but
Go to
where
the
can they go to find more of you?
go to the cave I live in.
Oh,
Uh,
there you go.
my Bubbles address. Live in a bubble. Let's see. Nurturedheartinstitute.com would be the place.
There you go. Yes. And there will be offerings of training, live trainings and video resources and all kinds of things, podcasts of Howard and more.